Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 4 of Women in Fintech. As you probably have heard, March is Women's History Month, so we're bringing on women in various industries in finance and technology to amplify their voices and learn from their experiences. Over the past 2 decades, the number of women entrepreneurs has increased by 114%. In addition to that, women-owned businesses employ 9.4 million people as of 2019. And despite contributing enormously to the economy, women-owned firms received only 4.75% of federal contracts in 2018. We are closing that gender gap, but equality is still to come and progress to be made. Today, you'll hear from Kathryn St at Trading Central, Barbara Provost from Purse Strings, and Kathryn Van Nuys, head of fintech at AWS. I'm your host, Jordan Robertson, and we're going to jump right in with Kathryn St. Welcome. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, of course. So I really just wondering if you can introduce yourself and tell us what you do at Trading Central.
Yeah, sure. I head up user experience over at Trading Central. We're a global fintech. So we analyze all sorts of data to help people make decisions about their investments. And it's loaded up through, I would say, the world's most admired investing brands. I started there just after finishing my computer science degree. We were a little startup operating out of a little townhouse, if you will, building chart pattern recognition from scratch. And were acquired in 2016 by a Paris-based company called Trading Central. So that's been really exciting with, working with their European and Asian clients. So that's me. Hi.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, Barb. Welcome.
Hi.
So can you tell us about yourself and Purse Strings and why you founded it?
Sure. I'm Dr. Barb Provost, founder of Purse Strings. I founded Purse Strings because what I've learned over the years working as a consultant in the financial industry is that women were really an overlooked market. I did a lot of data, focus groups, and found that women are a very powerful market to the tune of $23 trillion, yet they're very overlooked by the financial industry. And women are not prepared for their own financial future. So I've created a model where we provide free online tools and resources for women to help them learn how to make smart financial decisions for themselves and their family. Moreover, we pair them with top financial professionals who know how to serve a female market, who listen to women and put the needs of women front and center. And those are called our Purse Strings approved professionals. All things money, so realtors, lenders, investors, financial planners, PNC agents, we prepare and present them to our community of women.
Okay, thank you, Barb. I love your platform. Hi, Kathryn Van Nuys. Can you introduce yourself and tell us how you got started at Amazon? And I'm also just curious, what you do as head of fintech.
Sure. So thanks so much for having me. Just to set the stage, I'm actually part of a startup organization at AWS, and our role is just to support startups from the very early stages all the way through the different phases of their growth. And so it's a team of former founders or investors and just startup operators who partner with startups around the world to help them build, launch, grow, scale their businesses. And so in my role, I focus exclusively on how we're supporting fintech startups. What are the unique needs that they might have or challenges, and how do we create the right programs, resources, products, services, you name it, that can support them as they are building. And so I love it because I get to work with a lot of really innovative and interesting companies, around the world. And I have a team that's based from in Latin America and India, Asia, and Europe as well.
Wow. Awesome. So even though you guys all work in different industries, they're traditionally very male dominated. So actually, Kathryn Van Nuys, I was wondering if you faced any challenges specifically as a woman that gave you unique skills to excel in your field.
No, I think, when I first joined and when I was at Lehman, I was on a trading desk and, one of the very few females there. And I think what I've always just done is really been myself. And I remember, I think there was some pressures or needs to act in a certain way or act more masculine or less female. And I've always just sort of embraced my skill set, which may or may not be unique to sort of being a woman, but just really, listening, being a good communicator, being very responsive, being able to manage a lot of different stakeholders. And that's really helped me to earn trust with different, my managers and different people internally. So using sort of my, people skills has really helped me along my career. So I really just I've really just always tried to be myself and embrace the pieces of me that are unique, because it's very obvious and very transparent when you're trying to be something you're not, or you're acting really outside of your comfort zone. So I think that was, what I've always really taken to heart in a variety of my roles.
Okay, yeah, thank you for sharing. Kathryn St. John, so do you ever feel intimidated by working in your industry in trading and investing? And if so, how do you deal with those feelings?
I think people encounter all sorts of moments where you feel a bit intimidated, maybe not so much by this specific industry. I don't know, I think my personality is a bit that I get energized sometimes by things that seem like a bit of a challenge. But I just lean back to, honing your skill set and focusing on what you know. I think that working with founders has really shaped that sort of attitude to say that, your contributions and your skill set matters, and we're really counting on you to make a difference and to apply those skills to the problems of the business. And, so it just kind of shifts your orientation to focus on being productive. And I think that's one of the great things about working with founders, is that what really matters is the success of their business. Perhaps it would be different at a different kind of company where there's many layers and personal interests involved. So I tend not to see the same kind of like barriers or lines that a lot of other people see. And I think that's a good way to just keep moving forward and learning new skills to solve problems and make a difference. So that's what seems to work for me.
Yeah, one of our core values at Benzinga is actually it's the what, not the who, and that's really what it reminded me of when you were talking about that. So, I actually want to go back to Barb. I know you were saying that your goal with Purse Strings is to empower women financially. So, is there something that inspired you to create the platform at first?
Yes, absolutely. When I was working in the financial industry, I could see by the processes they use, the one sale process, the marketing materials they used, a lot of the processes and procedures were not ones that really adhered or served women. And I brought that up consistently, but to no avail. And at the same time, I could see women who were, bagging my groceries or at Costco handing out little treats, and they were of retirement age. And so I really stepped back. I'm an adult educator and did the deep research and thought, why is the industry, how are they serving women, which turned out to be that they're the least sympathetic to women, and women are not prepared for their financial future. So I saw a huge gap, and women would tell me when I talk to a financial professional, they don't even look at me. That's the first thing women tell me. And I was just dumbfounded by that. And why would you, work with any customer in any service area and not even look at them or engage in them? So I knew there was a huge void here, and yet women are such a powerful market. So I deal with this male-female issue all the time in my industry, because sometimes the industry just doesn't see it. And a great example of that, just an analogy, is in the NCAA this weekend, where the women showed you their workout room and then the men's workout room, and there was a vast difference. And so if you compare that to the financial industry, you could overlay that experience in the very same way. So there's a huge divide between the way that they're not serving the female market and what women need. And they're leaving a lot of money on the table because they're not really serving a female market.
Wow. So do you think that there has been, we've made some progression since founding Purse Strings, or do you still find that that gap is still very vast?
Oh, that gap is still there. It's really, really hard work to do this kind of work in a male-dominated industry. And as you said at the beginning of your show, I fully bootstrapped purse strings while I was running my consultation firm and raising children. So it's, one day after the other is trying to, earn from Peter to pay Paul, because I believe so much in this mission. And women are just not funded in their businesses, even though we pitch a lot to different industries. We really need money to help support these very important issues that will help bring up women, especially during this time of COVID, when women are really the safety net for everything and feeling it financially. So women need a lot of help in terms of counseling, coaching, understanding their financials, learning how to work in this new world where they might have to leave the workforce. How are they going to prepare for their financial future, especially in a time when, most women will age alone, solo, as they typically will outlive their male spouse.
Wow, totally agree with you, which is why your platform is just, it's so important for women. Kathryn Van Nuys, so is there something that attracted you to fintech specifically, or was it more of like a happenstance, or?
Mute.
Kathryn, can you check your microphone? I think you might be on mute.
My headset might be giving me trouble. Can you hear me better now? Okay, sorry about that. So I was saying, I think what happened was what initially got into startups, coming from the financial services space. I had been at Lehman Brothers in 2008, when everything kind of went a little sideways. And so ended up finding myself looking for something a little new and joined a startup called Rabini Global Economics, and ended up moving out to London and building out. I had an opportunity, I think, another lesson I always learned was to really seize opportunities and step up and take on ownership. And so I saw there was an opportunity with the void in leadership in the European office. And by building relationships and earning the trust of the senior leaders, ended up building out and owning a team for that business in Europe. And so it was quite a challenge, but I think what I loved about it was that startup element, that I was able to come in, work hard, see an opportunity, and get to wear a lot of different hats and manage a team and learn a ton. And so that really just made me want to stay with startups. And so when I moved back to the US, I saw that fintech was, so it had, for me, that nice combination of startup. So a lot of autonomy, a lot of opportunity, but also kind of, brought my experience of financial services in. So I was able to really leverage my past experiences to come into fintech. And I started looking at the space, I think it was 2012, right when I think it was at the time kind of peer-to-peer lending and Prosper and Lending Club and all these new companies were just getting, they had been around, but were really heating up, and a lot of new companies were getting started. And so found an opportunity and ended up kind of going for it and have never looked back.
I love what you said about startups and learning, because I definitely think that's the space where you learn a huge amount in. So that's awesome. So Barb, I want to swing it back to you. So Purse Strings is a platform that bridges the gap between, the unique needs of women in the financial industry. What advice do you have for businesses or platforms that are trying to attract more women to their product or service?
Mm-hmm. Women really love value. So a lot of times people will focus on price, but one gentleman said to me, do women not buy long-term care because it's too expensive? And I said, have you looked at what someone pay for their purses and their face creams and their shoes? Women will spend money on what they feel is of value to them and will help them in their busy life and their busy schedule, and provide a value to their life. So price is not always the first consideration when women are making purchasing decisions. They really want to know, is this a good decision? I don't want to have to make this decision twice. Is this a value to me? Will this help me in my daily life or whatever I'm purchasing this for? How will it help me? And what is the service that will be provided? Because women really value service as well.
Yes, totally agree. Thank you for sharing that as well. So, Kathryn St. You have a background in computer science. How did your expertise in this area lead you to product design in particular, and in particular to the retail investing space?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, I started out actually building our first user interface. We were originally working on providing our content as data and didn't really want to build a user interface. And so it was really interesting to just jump in and say yes to the opportunity to help out by, by taking that step and contributing in that way. So we were really small. So naturally, the person building the user interface is doing a lot of thinking about how people are going to use the content and helping evolve that over time. And so I ended up moving into product management ultimately, and kind of interesting over the years to see more and more of your code being deleted and replaced, which is good. and I really realized that we needed a strong focus on user experience, on paying attention specifically to how people are able to get the most value out of our content, helping them to make decisions, and kind of looking at the broader ecosystem of partners like Benzinga, for example, and the clients that we work with to evolve kind of the broader investing experience and not sort of only like a specific app or data point that we're working on. So that was kind of the natural evolution from coding as user interface and being responsible for a lot as a startup, and then having the opportunity to really bring some focus and specialization in the area of user experience over the years.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So, kind of pivoting into advice for your users, what are some first steps for someone who is interested in retail investing or trading? Like, what should they take?
Oh, yeah, interesting. I think you learn a lot. I think it was Tom Sosnoff that said it once at one of our events, the importance of just jumping in and taking a risk. So you learn a lot by just getting some exposure and getting started. And there's ways for people to get started with very limited risk, to take a position. My daughter, who's, when she was 11, she bought her first stock in Hershey's, and so, she put $100 down or whatever it was at the time. And, so you can get involved. And when you get involved, you start to learn. Like, you almost can't help but learn because your curiosity is sparked and your interest is sparked. So I think that is the really very first and most important lesson in a lot of things. I mean, I even just think about how I started my career in computer science. I started in business, took a course in programming. It was a whole space I didn't even know about, but just by getting exposure and taking a step. So, you've got, as you said, if you're going to spend a few $100s on a purse, you spend $100 on a stock, and just get started with the learning. What's exciting now, though, is that it used to be that it was a very rich, deep, niche environment to really process all the data involved in investing, and we've come a long way. Partially driven by Trading Central, but in being able to surface and provide insights on top of all this data to help people get involved more easily and kind of learn as they go and develop some insights more quickly. So I think it's actually a better time than ever to take that first step.
Yeah, that's something that's like been a reoccurring theme throughout, like hearing the guests, is just experience or exposure really, and education. So I think that's just something that we should definitely iterate on. So Barb, what is the first step that someone can take if they want to become more financially literate?
Well, it all comes with really understanding your own finances. So at pursestrings.co, we have courses for women on how to get your financial foundations in order. It's really understanding the money that's coming into your household and your expenses going out. And just start with the basics. Reach out to Purse Strings. We have all things financial on there. So we have Ask an Expert. We have resources on buying a house, buying auto insurance, life insurance. It's about educating yourself in small steps and not being afraid. We have a very warm community. So many women fear the conversation of money. We We weren't taught to talk about money. Sometimes it's very cultural. Sometimes when money was addressed in the household, it led to fighting. So sometimes people just don't even want to go down that path. But it's really important to have, money's just a tool to use. So if you're in partnership with someone or you have your own money, it's really important to really learn how to use that tool for today and for your future, so that your financial future self will really thank you for the decisions that you made today.
Right. I love that. Always have your own back,
Mm-hmm.
So Kathryn Van Nuys, what steps should someone take who is interested in a career in fintech? Like, say someone's watching right now and they're like, I really want to do what she does. What would you say is the first step?
Yeah, so I think first learning as much as you can about the space, because fintech is pretty broad. It encompasses a lot from banking or personal finance to payments to digital assets or cryptocurrency. And so I think just educating yourself a little bit about the space and kind of figuring out what's most interesting to you. And so normally and kind of pre-COVID times, I've always been more social by nature, and so learn a lot from meeting people or asking questions and hearing about the business, attending meetups or conferences. And so that's obviously not, that's quite challenging right now. And so I think to the extent that you can learn, follow different people on Twitter. There's a bunch of different podcasts. The Wharton FinTech podcast is great, and a number of others. So sort of, I think just educating yourself first about kind of where you want to focus, because I do have a lot of people that have come to me lately that are leaving more traditional financial services and very interested in fintech and moving into the space, but are overwhelmed by like where to start and kind of what to look at. And so I think getting a sense of kind of the stage of company you're looking at based on perhaps your risk tolerance. Do you want to be a really early employee at a seed stage company and not make as much money but have more equity, or do you want kind of a sure bet and kind of target a later stage company? So I think kind of understanding what your risk profile is to kind of understand the types of companies you'd be interested in, and then starting to learn about them and learning about the space is really important. I think there's a lot of different courses even that you can take to learn more about fintech. There's so many webinars and other kind of content now to follow. So I think obviously educating yourself. And then as you think about moving in, into startups, working at AWS and on the technology side, I think to the extent that you can learn or are interested in understanding, cloud technology or different services, there's all different courses you can take to kind of upskill yourself. And I think show a willingness to learn new skills and ability to pick up new things that will help you in your career. So there's a company called A Cloud Guru that has great courses for learning cloud technology. All those types of things I think will help as you sort of gear up to potentially, if you're switching careers or depending on your previous experience.
Yeah, I agree. And I love that the thing you said about influencers. I think that's something that you can do, right now as a quick, easy step, find those people who you can learn from and follow and go from there. So before we get into trivia, I wanted to take a little break to talk about Benzinga Pro. For those of you who don't know, it's our very own stock research platform equipped with real-time alerts, audio squawk, and the fastest newsfeed in the game. And if you're watching, we have a promo code YouTube47 for 40% off of your monthly Benzinga Pro subscription. And I want to show you a little bit about it. All right, so I'm going to get to trivia. So if you haven't played along before, you can play along in the chat. Just enter 1, 2, 3, or 4 when the question pops up. The winner in the chat is going to earn some Benzinga swag, and then if you guess the winner on Twitter, you're going to win a free month of Benzinga Pro. So we'll get started in a minute. Kathryn and Barb, just hold up. Yep, your piece of paper or your whiteboard. I'll read the question. It'll be multiple choice, and I'll keep track here. So again, if you haven't played before, please play along in the comments. You get to win some Benzinga swag, like we've got t-shirt or a bunch of stuff from our swag store that you can pick from. Any questions? Are you guys trivia newbies or seasoned?
I think my average score on remote trivia games is like 4 out of 20, so this could be easy for everybody else.
Higher than mine.
Well, there's only 8 questions, so
there we go.
4 out of 8 could be, a great score.
Yeah.
All right. Jumping into the very first question. Which women launched the world's first designer fragrance in 1921? Was it 1, Estee Lauder, Youth Dew, 2, John Pateau, Joy, 3, Coco Chanel, Chanel No. 5, or 4, Francois Marie Guillaume, Chalmar? I wish I had a French background right now. I have a hint for you guys too. So this designer was actually a cabaret singer at first, and later in life she lived in a hotel in Paris. Every day after she left the hotel, the porter would call an employee who would spray the staircase of her perfume before her arrival. I feel like that's very fancy. Okay, so Kathryn Van Nuys, you got 3. What do you have, Barb? 4. And Kathryn St. John, you're number 4. All right.
Francoise.
Is that how you say it, Francois?
Francoise.
Okay, what do you guys think in the comments? I see a lot of 4s and a lot of 3s, and it is 3, Coco Chanel. So Kathryn Van Nuys, one for one so far. All right, next question coming up. I see you guys got it in the comments too, so hats off. Okay, number 2, a former publisher of the Washington Post and Newsdesk magazine. She is one of the most prominent women in American business. Is it 1, Katharine Graham, 2, Barbara Walters, 3, Patty Hearst, or 4, Katie Couric? Do you guys know this one, or is it a shot in the dark? All right, Van Nuys, 1.
Well, now I'm biased because I've seen their answers, so it's like cheating.
No. 1. Okay, you guys all
I think it's Barbara Walters.
You guys all think it's Katharine Graham. Do you guys look up to anybody in American business? Do you have like a favorite person? No one comes to mind. Is it Katharine Graham maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what do you guys think in the chat? I see mostly 1s, 2s. So it's between Kathryn and Barbara, and it is Kathryn. So you guys all got that one.
There's a woman running the ARC Fund. I can't remember her name. I think that you guys had interviewed her.
Yeah, Kathy Woods. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was like a really amazing story. So.
Oh yeah, I know.
Is she American or?
Kathy Woods?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Feel free to chime in if you know otherwise. Okay, number 3. Which of these companies was created by a woman to help alleviate the burden of household chores? Was it 1, Craigslist, 2, TaskRabbit, 3, Honey Don't, or 4, List Regulator? The hint for this one: this company was designed by Leah Busk, to help connect tasks that needed doing with people who are willing to do them. Today, you can log on to the website and describe the job you have or register to become a chore helper. Okay, you guys think it's 2, 2.
I've used TaskRabbit. I just don't know who found
And you think it's Honey Don't. Okay, so Kathryn St. John says 3, and then you guys say, did you say 2, TaskRabbit?
Yeah.
Okay. 2.
I've never heard of Honey Don't or List Regulator. I have to look them up.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I love the name Honey Don't. Okay, TaskRabbit it was. So we got 1 point for Barb and 1 point for
I did not know that was created by a woman. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
I know. Really using technology.
Well, it makes sense though, doesn't it?
Yep. Totally
Motivation.
leveraging it. Yes. Okay, number 4. Anita Roderick founded Blank in 1976 with a single shop in England that eventually grew to more than 2,000 stores. She used her fame to end animal testing and was a pioneer of ethical consumerism. Was it 1, MAC Cosmetics, 2, The Body Shop, 3, Victoria's Secret, or 4, Sephora?
Oh, could have been.
What do you guys
Okay,
think?
I already wrote this, but I think it's the other one.
All right. Kathryn St. John,
Yeah.
you think MAC. Barb, you think The Body Shop. And
Probably The
Kathryn
Body
Van
Shop.
Nuys, you think The Body Shop. Okay. I have a hint for those who haven't answered in the comments. So this company in the past, they've actually run a challenge campaign that anyone can enter, and it's based around the idea of setting a goal around being positive for 21 days until it becomes second nature. So if you've ever heard of this company, and it's The Body Shop. So that's a point for Barb and a point for Kathryn Van Nuys. Score update, Barb 3, Kathryn St. John 1, Kathryn Van Nuys 3. So we're in a tie. And coming up on number 5. Okay, so Tamara Mellon co-founded one of the most famous designer shoe companies in the world. What is the name of her company? Is it 1, Christian Louboutin, 2, Emmy Parsons, 3, Jimmy Choo, or 4, Fluvog? And I have a hint for you guys if you want to wait. These shoes are mentioned by Adriana in The Sopranos and Anne Hathaway in The Devil Wears Prada, if that helps.
I don't know.
All right, Kathryn Van Nuys thinks 3, Barb thinks 3, and Kathryn St. John, you think 3 as well. All right. What do you guys think in the comments? Does everyone agree that it is Jimmy Choo? I see some too. Emmy Parsons.
I don't know Emmy Parsons either.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely Christian Louboutin and Jimmy Choo's are the most popular, and it is number 3, Jimmy Choo. So you guys all got that point.
Oh,
All right.
pure luck.
Moving on to number 6. Okay, what was Martha Stewart's first job out of college? Was it 1, a stewardess, 2, an accountant, 3, a stockbroker, or 4, a teacher? So hint for this one, when it came to the crime that landed her in prison, she should have known better. Okay, Barb.
Based on that.
3. Okay, you guys all say stockbroker.
I was helpful.
What was your guys' first job out of high school or college, rather?
I was a cashier or a teller.
A bank teller?
Yeah, bank teller.
Nice.
Yeah, out of college, I was in Citigroup. I was in capital markets and mortgage securitization, pre-crisis.
Yeah.
I was a waitress and then worked at Nortel Networks before its downfall. The downfall
I feel like
of the
everyone
mighty.
should have to be a waitress at one point in their life. It's
Absolutely. Yes.
underrated. Yeah,
Agreed.
very tough. Okay,
Yeah.
so jumping into number 7, the first woman to purchase a seat on the New York Stock Exchange was 1, Muriel Seibert, 2, Lauren Simons, 3, Eleanor Roosevelt, or 4, Stacey Cunningham. So hint on this one, she was born in 1928, and the stock exchange had told her that she would have to pay $445,000 and $300,000 of the price had to come from a bank. After 2 years, Chase Manhattan Bank loaned her the money. So she still had to come up with $145,000. That's crazy. Okay, you guys think Seibert, and Seibert. Okay. Yeah, that's seriously the craziest story to me. First of all, I didn't even know you had to purchase a seat on the New York Stock Exchange. So, and $445,000 in the 40s.
Yeah.
A lot of money. Okay, it's Muriel Seibert. You guys are right. So score update, Barb 6, Kathryn St. John 4, Kathryn Van Nuys 7. I think I miscounted earlier. And we're going into the last question. So could be a tie. Let's see. Maybe it was love, maybe it was tech. Which of these Fortune 500 companies was started by a woman who wanted to email her husband? We get a collective aw. Was it 1, Yahoo, 2, IBM, 3, AOL, or 4, Cisco? And your hint, this company surged to nearly $80 at the apex of the dot-com bubble in March 2000, making it the most valuable company in the world with a market cap of $500 billion. All right, Kathryn St. John, AOL.
Oh, no.
AOL.
This is a guess.
3, AOL. Okay, you guys all think AOL.
I remember being in high school and like coming home and going online to email people. And
Definitely. The friends you just left
deal.
5 minutes ago are now online, and it was great. All right, what do you guys think in the comments? I see a mix. Oh, it was actually Cisco.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Wow.
I know.
Learn something new every day.
Full to solve.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was like started as an email.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. I didn't know that either. So congratulations to AJ in the comments for winning. Please email us and we'll get you some swag. And Kathryn Van Nuys, you won. So you just earned one Twitter follower, a free month of Benzinga Pro. So thank you guys so much for playing. I hope you had fun. Hope you learned something.
Yeah, it was fun.
I did, yeah. I guess a lot.
Anyway, it worked out for you.
Very
right?
comfortable not being good at something I'm not aspiring to be good at.
There you go.
Well, thank you guys again so much. So while we're playing along in the comments, I actually want to give the users some chance to ask you guys some questions. One thing that we got asked on Twitter, if we could ask you, is Kathryn St. John, what was your first trade and was it successful or no?
Oh, interesting. Actually, it took me a long time to trade stocks, which was very surprising. And I really had to think about the reasons behind that because I had spent over a decade building tools and writing educational material. And so I had to kind of wonder, what had held me back. And in part, it was kind of feeling like a sense of ownership over making those sorts of risky decisions when there's safer things that you can do with your money. So anyway, one of the first trades I can remember was actually Thor. It was an RV company, and it was actually out of some user testing that we were doing. And some guy that we were testing with had chosen Thor off of the page. And I thought it was because it had, incredible rate of return estimates and some other information. And turns out it was because his wife liked Thor. And we looked at it. It was an amazing stock. So I decided to buy it.
That is too funny. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
So Kathryn Van Nuys, people are wondering, what is something that you're researching the most right now, if anything?
Oh, interesting. Researching the most. Well, two things. One was so as a new managing a global team, I've been doing a lot on, it's not fintech related, but just around kind of goal setting and OKRs and kind of setting kind of team goals and looking across the region. So that's been sort of an interesting learning for me as a manager. I think as far as fintech goes, I've been spending a lot of time looking into Latin America and different opportunities there because we're expanding our team. And so spending time on mostly on payments, kind of the move to real-time payments has been sort of a trend happening kind of all across the various geos. And so that's been an area I've been a little more interested in. And then I think just kind of personally looking at kind of digital assets and what's happening in crypto. I actually watched your episode with Flory from BlockFi. Her co-founder had gotten me sort of interested in the first place a number of years ago in the space. So that's something I'm also following.
Yeah, their platform is so cool. Speaking of crypto, so can you guys take crypto payments at AWS?
At AWS, good question. I don't think so, but I doubt it. I don't know about Amazon.com. I'm also not sure about that.
I was just curious because some of the affiliates we work with are like, can we pay you in, Bitcoin or our currency? And I'm just like,
Wow.
that is very fascinating. And I wonder how it will kind of evolve. But thank you for what you're researching. And question for Barb, how do you continue to learn in order to stay on top of things in your role on personal finance? I mean, things are changing all the time.
Yeah. Well, so I work with a lot of financial professionals. So they're top of their game and I learn a lot from them. So I'm the educator. I'm the one who can really take some complicated information, financial information, and make it very easy for our users or for our community to use. So I'm always every day in dialogue with them. Plus, just always on top of everything in social media. read a lot of different magazines online and newspapers online, and I talk to a lot of people in the industry. So it's just about always kind of being revolving in that world and asking questions, which I do all the time, and then just consistently taking it in. There's a lot out there. There's a lot to wade through, but if you find it interesting and kind of your mission, it's what you love to be immersed in every day.
Yeah, I agree. And asking questions is huge. You
Mhm.
you guys should be always asking questions. So I don't see any other questions in the comments. So I mean, last but not least, where can people follow you? And is there anything you want to add? How about you, Kathryn St.
Yeah, sure. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. It entertains me through the day, but also helps me to stay connected to people within this great community of online brokers and investing apps that we serve. So I speak a little bit about some of the things that I'm learning and some of the things the team is working on, and try to bring it back, of course, to how we can help our clients. So there's a little bit of exposure there, mostly on LinkedIn for me.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And how about you, Kathryn Van Nuys?
Sure. So similarly, I use LinkedIn probably the most for posting. I'm trying to be a more active contributor to Twitter versus just reading other people's content. We do have, for the AWS side, AWS Startups has a great Twitter where we're always putting out content about interesting companies, many that are fintech, but many that are also not, and in other areas. So that's kind of a good way to sort of stay up to date, but certainly on LinkedIn.
Okay, great. And Barb, how about you? Anything you want to add, and where can people follow you?
Sure. Well, I'm on LinkedIn, of course, but you can follow Purse Strings. It's Purse Strings CO, and we're on Pinterest, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We have a Facebook page and group, and we do a little bit on Twitter, but we're really looking to find women to join Purse Strings for free. All the resources are free on all the social media sites. And then, of course, we're always looking for financial professionals who want to be Purse Strings approved. And they can just reach out to me at barb@pursestrings.co.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and I hope you guys, people watching, that you guys learned a lot, and follow these amazing women. I mean, they're doing really incredible things, and so if you've been with me this whole time, I appreciate you. Thank you, Kathryn, and Barb. It was seriously a pleasure having you. This episode actually rounds out Women in Fintech special, so I won't see you again next Tuesday. But if you'd like to hear from more women in finance industries, write in. Tell us what you want to see, and what you think would be fun. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video if you like it. And Spax Attack is up next with Chris and Mitch. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for bringing us together.